Welcome to the HDG Stories podcast, where we'll share our threads of memories, knowledge, experience, and history, knitting all generations into a beautiful tapestry. So please like and share, and be sure to subscribe. Now let's get started.
Hi, this is Ellie. Today I share an excerpt from my interview with Mary McLhinney that took place on August 29, 2016. Welcome, Mary.
First, we'll get the details. What is your date of birth?
2/14/1931. My kids cannot forget my birthday.
I was going to say, you are a Valentine girl.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your maiden name?
My maiden name was Phillips.
P-H?
Phillips.
Where were you born?
I was born in Fort Eustis, Virginia.
E-U-S?
E-U-S-T-U-S, yeah. My father was a career cavalryman. I always told Annie that's where she got her love for riding horses.
Maybe start with your birth and your earliest memories, because as you're talking, it'll bring in things that your parents said and stuff, so it'll come with the story.
We lived in Edgewood Arsenal up until I was 5 years old, and my father retired, and then we moved to Perryville.
So you didn't live in Eustis very long?
No. I couldn't even tell you how long.
Your dad was at Perry Point then?
Yeah, he worked at Perry Point. My mother worked at Perry Point after we all went into school.
And what did they do there?
My father was an attendant,
Like
took care of the patients.
Yeah, like
on
an
the ward.
orderly.
My
or
mother
attendant?
worked in the kitchen.
And what were their names?
It was Catherine, spelled with a C, C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-E, and then Harry. I guess I should say Harry Sr. because I have a brother.
And so your mom went to work after you all went to school.
Mm-hmm.
How many siblings do you have?
I have one living and one dead.
Okay.
I have two brothers. I'm
Okay.
the youngest, and my brother next to me died. Let's see, he died in January. Charles died in the following December, 11 years ago. So,
right within a few months of each other.
yeah, he
Wow.
died the first of the year, and my husband died the last of the year. The other brother is 90. He's got to be 95.
And what's his name?
His name is Harry Beanball
So that's Harry Jr.
I don't even think he uses the junior.
He's 95.
I think he's 95.
And what was your other brother's name?
The other brother's name was Michael. Mickey.
Now tell me your earliest memories that you have as a kid.
The earliest memory I have, we were in Edgewood, and my brothers were outside playing baseball, and my father told them to come in because they were going to break a window or something. And well, they didn't, and they did, and they got punished, and he spanked them and sent them to bed, and they were crying, and I was standing with him like in the doorway, and I was laughing. He picked me up, turned me over.
Okay, that's a pretty vivid memory.
I remember that.
And you would have been
pretty
young.
Yeah, I had to be. Well, as I say, I was 5 when we moved to Perryville, so I don't know how.
So
how
yeah.
Before that, I would say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, never lasted at any punishment after that. But my father wasn't a mean person. It's just like he told you. You knew if we were living in Perryville, if you went out and fooling around, you knew to be in the house either by dark or 9, whichever came first. He didn't have to tell you. You knew if you weren't there, you could come in early, but if you came in late, you were automatically housebound for 2 weeks. No questions asked.
No debate.
No smacking, no nothing. Never laid a hand on us after that.
Did you live on Perry Point?
No, the Perryville.
Okay.
You know where Boxcar Avenue is?
Yes.
Trains were over here, and I was here. We were right on Front Street there. I think that house is up a little bit farther up there now. It was Mr. Spragg that lived here in Havre de Grace. He was the head of the caretaker of the what we called the freight house. That's where the trains would come in and unload. Of course, I went to Perryville Elementary, but that's where the Legion is now.
Oh, okay.
The elementary school was in that same spot where the American Legion is. And we transferred to Perryville High. And from there, I went in nurses training.
So, and how long was that training?
3 years. I was there a year longer because I was working in the operating room for a while till I decided to come back. I was going to go to, well, my father had died. And I come back so I would be with Mom. And because my other two brothers, the one was still in the Marines, and they were both married. But, you know, I was the daughter and I was the youngest, so I stayed with her.
So did you work while you were with your mom, or?
Yeah, I worked at Perry Point.
As a nurse?
Mm-hmm. Guess I must, after I come home, I'm trying to think, I was married in 1952. And so, good Catholic girl, I got pregnant right away. So that's when I retired, I didn't retire, but I quit at Perry Point. I always said I was going back. I started helping in the store when my kids got big enough to go to St. Patrick's. And I can remember when I was turning, was it 35? And I told Charles, I said, you know, Charles, if I'd have stayed over Perry Point, you could be living off of my retirement. And he looked at me and he says, well, if you take the evening shift, you can get home just in time to open up the store, which I was doing.
Now, what little I remember of Charlie,
Yes.
I can see him and hear him saying that.
That's just like, do you know Rose Hooker? Her married name is Hooker. And she'd be across the street when Hex were across there. And he'd come out of the store and he'd say, hey, Rose. And she said, yeah, what do you want? Are you still a hooker? She says, yes, I am. And everybody on the street would turn around and look.
That's the guy I know.
I used to ride to where I didn't drive at that time. Till my father-in-law insisted that I learn how to drive. After I had Mary Frances, the oldest girl. And if I go over across the river to visit my mom, somebody would have to come after me. If the fire whistle blew and Charles was gone, so my father-in-law says, as soon as you have this baby, you're learning how to drive. And he was at Mr. Smikle that lived down on Union Avenue. He got him to teach me how to drive. And they made me learn how to park down in front of Vignes. And when I went up to get my license, we went to Elton. A woman friend of ours, she went with me because he couldn't go. And I got up there, and after my test was over and everything, and I passed, and the guy told me, he said, I want to tell you something. He says, you park better than any man I've ever seen. I said, well, I had a good teacher. I used to go out to Aberdeen newsstand to collect for papers. And right there, I forget the name of the street, the one that comes, they used to have the police department here in this brick building, and this street here. I can't remember the street.
That's not Park, is it?
It might be Park. It's by the old school.
I know what you mean, yes.
By the old school, and you come down onto the main highway. Well, there was a restaurant up there. Always the same guy sitting there eating when I would go out to collect. It was always about the same time. And 3 weeks straight, I had to back in, you know, and everything. And the third time I got out and I knocked on the window, because one guy I knew, I said, you didn't think I could do it 3 weeks in a row, did you?
I love it.
But I can remember he always told me to pull up as close to the vehicle in front of you. And when you start back and you cut your wheel short, and when you park, leave them like that. And you can get out. I've never had a problem getting out of the park.
So you had 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, three, right? Who were they? When were they born?
Mary Frances was born in 1953. I think 1953. You're really taxing me now.
I know.
And Charlie was born in 1954. I know Annie was born in 1958. Oh, shit.
58.
Oh, shut up!
Okay, she said that. So
I said yours right.
So what year was Charlie born?
So she was 58, so Charlie...
56. Okay. Got it.
I'm trying to count backwards.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, when was Mary Frances born?
53. All right, we got it.
I got him right.
Yep. Then you started helping Charlie
when I put Annie into school,
So
but every one of our kids worked in that store.
Yeah.
Even our grandkids worked in that store.
good. That's good for all of them.
All of Mary Frances' kids worked there. Of course, Charlie didn't have any, and Annie didn't have any at that time. But Mary Frances, all three of her kids worked there. That's as bad as Frances Kelly, the oldest one. She lives in Perryville now. Oh, she said to her mother, her mom, Mary Frances used to have a beauty shop in the mini mall. Anyway, she said to her mother one day, she said, "Do you think my mom and papa would be mad if I go look for another job?" And her mother said, "Well, why?" She said, "Well, I just want something different." She said, "Well, you tell them. Don't let somebody else tell them." So she said she was going, and she went, and I didn't hear anything. We didn't hear anything about it. And I said to Mary Frances one day when she was doing my hair, I said, "What happened to Frances Kelly?" I said, "Did she find a job?" She said, "Well," she said, "every place she went, she could do anything, run a lottery machine, cash register, anything, because you had to do everything in the store." And she said every place she went, they just wanted her to give her, with her experience, they didn't want to give her anything but the basic pay. And she says, I got to thinking, she says, I'm going back work for my grandmother and my grandfather. She says, not only do they pay me more than you do, but she says, when I take off, they pay me to work for me.
Plus, she was probably appreciated instead of
Well, she
being used,
realized, because we always paid the kids good that worked for us. We figured if we paid them good and they were good workers, we had a lot of newsboys, mostly newsboys that worked for us. We had a couple of girls, because we didn't have girl newsboys until later.
Now, which shop was your shop that you had the newsstand in? Is that where
The
Remax
original
is now?
shop was where the speakeasy is.
Okay.
That's the original shop.
In that little narrow
Yes.
section.
We moved over to where Remax is after we got the lottery machine, and that building became available. And my father-in-law, he didn't say much, but you could tell he didn't approve of it. But then when he saw the space that we had and what we could do with it, he was okay with it.
When you were in the speakeasy area, that was primarily just newspapers? Or
Newspapers, magazines, ice cream. We sold hand-dipped bars, ice cream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All in that little shop.
Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised what we got done in that little shop.
I
The funny part was after we had got the lottery machine, it would get like pandemonium in there, because you'd have people lined up trying to get lottery tickets and stuff. And people want to get their papers. And do you know Camilla Clark, black lady? Lives up on Erie Street. She says, I liked it when he had it down the store. She says, because we could rub heinies down there.
So then when you moved to Remax, you added more things, right?
Yeah, we really didn't add more. We just had more space in here. Oh, we did put, we put more paperbacks. We had paperbacks in the little store, but we had more room for it now.
You guys didn't do like warm nuts or anything like that, did you? Nuts or anything?
We cooked peanuts.
Oh, because somebody told me that. And I was wondering if that was you guys.
It's down in the store now.
Yeah.
In fact, they cook peanuts. Well, every once in a while they cook them. When they run out, I told Annie, I said, just be careful, because you can burn them real easy. In fact, they used to have a hood,
Yeah.
over top of it, because when I was pregnant, I would get so sick from the smell, because it would be in your clothes and your hair. So Charles and his father had one of those hood fans put over top of it. And man, did we sell peanuts after that.
I'll be darned.
Thank you, Mary. Besides our weekly excerpts, you can subscribe to our monthly paid service and receive 2 full-length audio interviews with transcripts each month. Visit us at hdgstories.com for all the information. And until we chat again, have a great week.
We hope you've enjoyed today's HDG Stories podcast. We encourage you to subscribe. We hope you will share with your friends. Till the next story, we invite you to visit us at hdgstories.com.